Yeah, I think there's a lot. Each place got similarities. Each situation has similarities and differences, like anything else. Your first year, it's always everything's new. It's everything's new. Whether it's the first road game, first whatever it may be, but you're constantly trying to get to know your roster and your personnel. And when you've had a group for a year and then you move on, you understand your personnel better, you understand your roster more, and they understand you and what you want to do more. So it's a two-way street, and I think we're getting there. I feel like we're probably as far along as we've been, and I like where this team's at. But there's a number of things you don't. There's a comfortability factor in everything you do, and you can almost hear it in coaches' voices, as they move on through a season and begin to really make it their program. And so it's a natural progression. Probably not answering your question in as much detail as you'd like, but I could be here all day and tell you all the things that it's similar as.
Was Saturday an example of that adversity? You talked about that before the UConn game last year. The team hadn't handled that well, and they handled it well, or maybe didn't have that much of it Wednesday. Was that an example on Saturday of it creeping back up?
Yeah, I think it's a number of things. I felt like we played well for the most part, particularly in the first half. I thought our seniors, I thought Jaron and Trey were really, really good. I think it was a product of a few things. They had some poor individual performances that we hadn't typically had. Didn't shoot the ball very well against the zone team, which you need to do to get separation on the road. And the biggest thing I thought was we didn't handle the end of the game. I thought we didn't play with the amount of energy we needed to at the end, didn't execute. So it's a mixture of everything. It wasn't just the adversity. That's certainly part of it. The adversity of teams going on runs, adversity of a guy shooting 29% on the season and making 5 threes. You got to be able to make adjustments. And we did in the second half, but I thought it allowed us to bother us. Foul trouble bothered us a little bit. I thought we became tentative. Those are forms of adversity, and those are areas that we've got to get better at. And it's something I've echoed to you guys, and we've certainly talked about it on a regular basis.
What did you see? Didn't really have much trouble scoring the ball. He scored 71 points, but those final 4 minutes, kind of similar to what happened against Iowa. What happened specifically on Saturday in that last chunk?
Well, we got 2 great looks towards the end. You got Chris a left-handed hook in the lane that he makes it right now 5th in the country at 70% of the time. And then we ran a play with a minute 20 left, and it's an example of Jaron Cumberland's basketball IQ. The third option was wide open, and he hit Mike in the corner for a wide open 3, and we missed it. Prior to that, the possessions were a little jagged, but I still thought they were okay. We weren't getting a bunch of turnovers. We just weren't getting stops on the other end. It had nothing to do with the offensive possessions. Had everything to do with we weren't getting shots the other end. We executed exactly the way we wanted to against their zone. We got the shots we wanted to in the areas we wanted to. Jaevin Cumberland had 14 looks. I think 8 of those were looks that we were wanting to shoot 100% of the time.
What has been the biggest issue with defending on 3?
It's a good question because my teams, we've always been outstanding at defending the 3. I think it's a number of things. I think when one of the things with our ball screen coverages is if you have a 5-man that can shoot, we're vulnerable, and that's with anybody. If you have a 5-man that can shoot, we've encountered some 5-men that can shoot the ball here recently. The other piece is we have closed stance in our gaps. Our guys, our veterans, have always been open in their stance because they played zone for so long. So trying to close those gaps and do different things in stunning. And at the end of the day, the positioning needs to be right. The communication needs to be right, the understanding of scouting reports. But at the end of the day, you got to play hard and contest shots. And we contest shots. We literally work on contesting shots every day, and we're not doing that to the level that we need to.
Saturday they had their forward went 5 for 3.
They're 5-men, yeah.
Yeah, I think he only made like 9 threes all season. Was that just his day on Saturday, or was that something that?
Well, guys are going to have their day, so we got to make adjustments, and we did. We ended. Our philosophy on it is play harder. Sub and change schematically. And we tweaked it schematically, and we took him out of that. The bottom line in conference play, teams are shooting 85% from the free throw line, too. Our free throw percentage defense is awful.
How frustrating is that? That's obviously something out of your control.
I'm going to blame my daughters because normally they scream really, really loud, but they weren't on the road. Mom didn't want to take them to New Orleans. So.
I think fans see a foot added to the three-point line as the year started, and they think, does it seem like a huge difference from where it was just a year ago? But what challenges does that pose for a coach as far as spacing, as far as we see the percentages that precipitously drop?
Yeah. That's a good question. So it sounds weird. The first challenge is guys are stepping out of bounds a ton in the corner, a ton. And that's what we saw in the summertime when teams were playing overseas doing it in their summer trips. And you saw it now with the extended three-point line. The other piece is water finds its mark. So it took when we changed the line last time, 2 years went by and the percentages went back the way they normally are. I like the idea of the spacing piece because it does provide a little bit more spacing. But at the end of the day, I'll argue this up and down. Good shooting provides spacing. Moving back a line doesn't provide spacing. All right, we didn't change anything. Our guys are shooting the way they normally shoot. Now I think they need to step into the line a little bit more. Some of our guys shoot a little bit deeper than I'd like them to. But I think the three-point line moving back, the percentages water will find its mark. The spacing part of it is more along the lines: do you have good shooters or not?
You guys have a top 25 win. You have a couple of bad losses with that as well. I know it's early January, just the start of conference play, but do you start to preach to your guys that if you want to make the tournament, make those goals happen you had at the beginning of the year, that this is make or break time? You can't afford bad losses.
Yeah, I'd argue on the bad losses piece because, Colgate's really, really good. We scheduled them for a reason. I know people don't want to hear that, but they're really good, and Tulane's going to win a lot of games at home. I don't get ahead of, where we are, where our feet are. If we get to the position where we start worrying about the future, then it's going to go against everything we talked about in terms of our preparation, our scouting, what we do on a daily basis. Literally being where our feet are and understanding what we have in front of us. Because we divorce ourselves from results. That's what we do. We live in the process. It sounds like coach speak, but when you're in this environment, you have to. You have to live in the process, execute what you can do every day, divorce yourself from outcomes, divorce yourself from the results. Don't be a scoreboard watcher. And at the end of the day, those results take care of themselves. I've done that my whole career, and we've been successful doing it. And I've learned it from some of the best, and that's the way we'll always do things. I'd like to lead this press conference so I go back up and prepare for practice. So that would be my sense of urgency. They have a high sense of urgency, but this team's about getting better right now. And this is the comment I made in my radio show last night. I've spent most of the season trying to get this team connected to the way we want to do things and connected as a group. And I think you're seeing a more connected basketball team. I think we've been playing really well. But what you sacrifice in working on that connectivity is an execution of situational basketball, an execution of offense and defensive coverages, and the things that we as coaches I love to get better at, and we need to get better at. I can no longer sacrifice. Now it's turned over to the team. Our connectivity is where it needs to be. I think guys understand who they are and what they need to do with the team in terms of roles, and I need to coach this basketball team, and so that's where we're at. So I think that those things have shown up in games because I've had to sacrifice those a little bit.
Talk after Wednesday, whenever UConn, about momentum and turning the corner. You don't feel like Saturday just crazy?
I don't. Obviously, again, a loss is a loss. We were in an environment when you're winning and losing. It doesn't discredit the fact that I thought we played well, and I thought guys were connected, and I thought they did the things we needed to do. We just didn't do those for 40 minutes. And, I'm honest with you guys. I'd tell you that differently. If I felt like coming out of that game, we were awful. And I really liked, particularly where our upperclassmen were mentally when he came back in practice on, Monday. And, I liked how we communicated to our guys and where they're at right now.
Nothing quite to that extent. I mean, probably one thing close is probably our Virgin Islands trip, but that was a little bit less of a big deal because it was on the way back as opposed to the way there.
Did that have, I know you guys got in late the day before, but did you feel like it had an impact on the game at all, or more just the pain get down there?
I think it was more just the pain getting down there. I mean, we can't let that affect us and affect how we play.
How's a guy like you squeeze into a prop thing?
Very carefully.
Jaevin, what's it feel like on the road? It seems like struggling to get some things to fall. Is it just locking in? Do you feel like there's maybe anything mechanical, or just shots not falling?
I mean, I guess it's just not shots not falling, but I mean, I can't really rely on that. I gotta affect the game different ways, assists, defensively. So just trying to do that different ways.
Coach mentioned that the majority of the shots you took Saturday were shots he wants you to take. Is that encouraging, even if you don't have your best shooting night, to know that the coach is still expecting you and wanting you to take those shots?
Yeah, I mean, that's always a good sign when the coach wants you to take shots. But I mean, just like I said, got to try to affect the game different ways.
Chris, what did you feel like? You guys played pretty well on offense overall, scored 71 points. What about those last 4 minutes? It was such a trouble to score down the stretch.
I don't think it was about the offense, really. I mean, we scored 71 points. That's enough points to win on the road. We just didn't get enough stops down the stretch to win the game there.
Did they do anything differently in the second half? I know Hightower kind of went off for them, but did they switch anything up at halftime?
It wasn't. I mean, a little bit, but it was a lot of our problems are self-inflicted, and there's just a lot of stuff that we can correct. But it was more of just us hurting ourselves and breaking down, and you gotta give them credit for taking advantage of all our breakdowns.
Chris, is there a sense of urgency that you guys need to start stacking up wins? I know you have the win against the top 25 Tennessee team, but you have a couple of probably disappointing losses. Maybe this is one of them, that's Tulane. Is there a sense of urgency in the locker room that you guys need to start going on a win streak and start building that resume for the postseason?
I'd say we always have a sense of urgency, just especially in conference play. But to answer your question, I wouldn't say we're at like panic mode, but I'd say there's definitely a sense of urgency and start stacking some wins together.
Jaevin, where you played previously, you probably wouldn't have had a shot at getting an at-large bid at the NCAA tournament. Does that change your mindset down the stretch entering conference play, knowing that if you play well, that you don't have to worry about necessarily winning that conference tournament to get to the NCAA tournament?
I mean, no, not really. I mean, I've always wanted to win a conference championship, so I mean, it's just a goal of mine. So I mean, we're gonna try to do that.
Jaevin, as someone out there on the floor known as a three-point specialist, a guy that can really hit a shot from distance, how big of a difference is that foot that's been added this year?
I mean, I guess it's been a big thing from past years, but I mean, I guess I can stretch the floor out for like people like Jaron and Keith, and then open the lane up for Chris and Trey.
So it's a net positive you feel to have?
Oh yeah, it's definitely a positive. Yeah, I think it could help all aspects. People getting to the free throw line, getting layups, getting easy post shots. So yeah.
Chris, you had 40 points over both conference games last week. What do you feel like like because teams haven't played you before, or just new to the conference? Do you take teams by surprise? What's allowed you to have some success down there?
I mean, I've really been thinking about it a lot. Honestly, just been going through, just trying to play my game and just shoot the shots or make the shots that I shoot, and just not really think about it too much. Honestly.
Are you surprised, even over the course of the game, when teams keep single guarding you in the post?
I mean, I just try to make reads. If the team single guard me, then I'll try to score. But if a team tries to bring two players, or I just try to read the defense and make the right play.
Coach mentioned, I think it was probably after the Iowa game or maybe around then, that he kind of challenged you a little bit. What was that conversation like? He's talked about how that he's known you for a long time, so it doesn't really take much between you two to understand or have a conversation like that. What was that conversation like? What was he expecting out of you?
We said before the Iowa game.
It might have been after the Iowa game over the break. He just talked about challenging you to maybe be more assertive on offense. It seems like it's been that way the past couple of games.
They just kind of same thing. Just to take the next step and just have confidence in everything I do.
Both of you guys are on a rising league here. Now you've got a couple of games in this league and this conference under your belt. What are some of the glaring differences that you've experienced between Horizon and America?
I mean, guys are just a little bit bigger, faster, stronger. I mean, it's definitely a big difference, but I mean, I don't think it's anything that neither one of us can handle, though.
Anything else? Jaevin, how have you seen this team grow? You guys have had, like I said, a couple frustrating losses. You guys have also had some pretty big ups. How have you seen this team grow and maybe come together and start to turn the corner? I know this past week was probably disappointing, but how have you seen this team grow over the past 2 months?
I mean, putting 6 guys different to the team, I mean, it's definitely a big step. But I mean, I think we've grown as connectively. I think we just keep each day, just get more connected with each other and just on and off the court.
Does that eventually just turn into execution, turn into wins?
I mean, yeah. I mean, once you get that connectivity on and off the court, I guess that will also be on the court, I guess.